Alabama football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? Welcome to Vanderbilt week. It is Monday. It is September 29th. Definitely get inside the comment box. Get inside our poll for the day, which is who should be the guest picker of College Game Day, right? More on that in just a minute. Here to break down and to recap and put a cap on Alabama defeating Georgia and moving 1-0 to SEC play. Here to preview just a little bit of what's on tap from Vanderbilt this coming Saturday. By the way, Alabama, 13.5-point favorite in that game. If you're into rat poison, that is certainly some for you. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. I hope you had a chance to kind of rest, recover, and get ready for the continuation of the gauntlet because it doesn't stop, right? You earned literally just a W in the column in terms of wins and losses. You moved to 1-0 in SEC play. We talked about how important that is, but you didn't earn a spot in the playoffs. You didn't earn a spot in the SEC championship game. So job's not done. You take a step forward, and you continue climbing this gauntlet, and a really good team is coming to Tuscaloosa this Saturday, a team that beat Alabama, a team that controlled the tempo, a team that feels they can beat Alabama again this Saturday. So we'll discuss it all and more every single day leading up to the game. I'm so glad that we don't have another bye week that we have to deal with for a little bit. I want to keep the momentum going, right? Specifically after a win like that. All right, we got a beautiful weekend coming up. This graphic brought to us by North Alabama Storm Chase, right? The tailgate looks absolutely wonderful. 80 degrees. I was just outside before the show. It's beautiful here in Tuscaloosa this morning. The game time temperature, 83 degrees at 2:30 for a beautiful kick. And you also have the fourth quarter, which would be 78 degrees. So is there anybody coming to the game? Is there anybody that will be in Tuscaloosa? Let me know. It should be an absolutely fantastic weekend for college football. I'll come back to this later on in the program, but be thinking about this, okay? I spent a little bit of time on this graphic. I actually like it. A lot of big personalities in here, right? A lot of stars. I mean, the state of Alabama they have so many stars in this state. It's amazing to me. So we got guest picker, all right? Here's kind of, I went through and I was thinking about options. I saw on AL.com, they asked the question. I was like, that's a good question. I saw a lot of people pulling for Roll Tide Willie, Julio Jones, AJ McCarron, James Spann, Nate Oates, Miss Terry. Who you got? I'll come back to this in a minute, but I don't know. I have to say, I would kind of be floating around with these three on the right, okay? Miss Terry, having her on stage with Saban. I don't know. I'm a big Miss Terry fan, all right? Nate Oates, man, it would be great to have him. I'm a huge Nate Oates fan as well. And he's not politically correct. You know what I'm saying? He calls it as he sees it. And then look, I don't know why they've never had James Spann on, right? So anyways, be thinking about that. We'll come back to it at the beginning of the show or at the end of the show. We got Patriot Life in here. Appreciate you, Patriot Life. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really good to see you, man. I really appreciate your continued support right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And I know you are happy because you've been pulling for Ty Simpson since the beginning. You're right. I mean, you've been in his corner, so to be able to see Ty flourish on a stage like that Saturday night, I know it makes not only you but everybody happy. The play of him has been phenomenal. By the way, he's now top 2 in terms of the HEISMAN, right? Plus 950. Imagine if you would have got on that. He has to continue to play great, but imagine if you would have got on that when it was like 15,000 or something like that. His odds were crazy high at the beginning of the year. All right, let's give some A&M shout-outs, and we'll start with the super chat right here from our good friend Patriot Life. I appreciate you so much, man. Coming to us from, as always, Chattanooga. That is where you have one of the biggest Alabama football fans. We got Young C coming up. He says it's his dad's 40th birthday. Happy birthday to your dad. I hope he has an amazing day. I'm sure he's an Alabama football fan. I'm sure he had an amazing weekend watching the Tide roll. You got Max Tooney checking in. What's up, man? Good to see you as well. Herman, good to see you this morning. Hope that you are off to a good Monday start. Clint Eastwood, what's up, man? I'm not a fan of game day. I would rather it didn't come to Tuscaloosa, but it brings in more revenue. What's up, Clint? I appreciate you, man. What's your favorite Clint Eastwood movie, by the way? Sound off inside. You know what? Was it The Mule? I think that was the last one that I watched. But I go back. Look, Clint Eastwood. I mean, who's not a fan, right? Escape from Alcatraz. Remember this one? Sam, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Good morning. We got Ruben Poole. Ruben, how you doing, man? Let us know how you're doing. I appreciate you always being here inside the comment box as well. We got Chris from Montclair, New Jersey. Thank you so much for being here. Andy710, man, what's up? Happy Monday. 100%, man. It feels good to come back on a Monday strong after a win like that. A lot of positivity. Now, it's not completely fixed. I don't think it's ever going to be perfect until a national championship is here. Definitely taking steps the right way, right? Sean, the Explorer, what's up, man? Good morning to you. I appreciate you. Debbie, I appreciate you being inside the comment box. Really strong supporter, especially as of late. Kings Family React, what's good, man? Coming to us from LaGrange, Georgia. That's enemy territory, but Alabama has just planted a flag once again in the state of Georgia. Jay Lee, what's up, man? Good to see you. Mindy, Miss Careless, good morning. I appreciate you being here. Ryan Paris, big crew in here, right? And there should be, right? There's a lot to talk about and a lot to celebrate. Anna, what's up? I see you coming into us from the state of Georgia as well. You got Bruce Williams from Indiana. And we got Frank D just saying straight up roll tide roll. Rex Green, man, always appreciate the dialogue with Rex inside the comment box, man. Good to see you as well. Mike G from Austin, Texas. We got Amanda Jane from LA. That's in Lower Alabama. We got Soli 462. Patriot Life, we gave you a shout out. We'll give you a double shout out, man, for your continued support. We got BJ coming up to us. Be sure and represent city, right? I love the cities, man. It's what's up, man. He's coming to town. All right, man, you're coming to town. We got Kenny Grant coming to us from Sam Houston, Texas. And Kyle says we have to stop the run. I think we had another super chat coming in here. Hey, Kelly, what's up, man? Cannot wait to can eat the rat poison this week, 100%. Can't eat the rat poison. All right, real quick, kind of putting a cap on this game, and then I'm going to play a couple sound bites from Coach Kalen DeBoer following the game as well as Kirby Smart. Just some highlighting points that after the press conferences, you know, after the coaches spoke, I think there was a couple key elements that I want to bring to your attention. And, of course, today at 12 p.m., Coach Kalen DeBoer, Kane Womack, Ryan Grubb, they'll hit the podium. They'll give their assessment, kind of recap Alabama, Georgia, and as we turn heads to Vanderbilt. But I was thinking about this, and if I missed something, post it inside the comment box. But I was thinking about it. Why did Alabama just straight up beat Georgia? All right, just to keep it like on a surface level, right? Why did Alabama beat Georgia? I think, honestly, as much as we talked about the offensive line, they really did a great job protecting Ty Simpson. I have some stats that I'm going to bring up in just a minute about Pro Football Focus. Yo, Will Conformi did a really good job. I was watching the offensive line particularly. Were you as well? Look, Georgia didn't send the house. I thought that Georgia would send more pressure in a game like this, but in times where there were guys coming, the offensive line did a great job, but also Ty got the football out on time. So, that has to go together. You can't just sit back there and let them tee off on you, right? So it's a combination of getting the ball out, right? Understanding your progressional reads, making the completion, throwing an accurate pass, right? But I thought the offensive line, honestly, I thought they played really well, and I have stats to prove that as well. They controlled the momentum. I have Alabama winning the first quarter, the second quarter. I think the third quarter, Georgia won that quarter maybe. I think that was the only quarter that Georgia outscored Alabama 7-0, and then in the end, Alabama able to end the game with a brilliant play. I love the 3rd and 5. That was just wonderful. And that kind of leads into no turnovers, right? I mean, this team has not committed a turnover in 4 games. I think it's Temple and Connecticut. Those are the 2 other teams that have not had a turnover in 4 games. That's impressive. Like super. I don't care who you're playing. I mean, that says a lot about the offense, right? And they made plays when it mattered, right? The 4th and 1 that they had to stop Georgia, they came up with a big stop. 3rd and 5, you got to get a first down. They go with a really good play to get that. And they made plays when it mattered during the whole game. Even, when someone pointed this out to me, the punter, Blake Dowd, he did a great job. He had 2 punts that were inside the 10-yard line. So they came up, and then the black hoodie, right? I think he's now 11-2 in the black hoodie. Does that mean that he wears the black hoodie for the rest of the time? I don't know. I guess he does. Coming up next, we got Coach Kalen DeBoer up at the podium following the game against Georgia. I want to play a couple sound bites from this game and highlight a couple points. Here's Coach Kalen DeBoer following the victory over Georgia.
Yeah, it's a mindset going in. that you're, especially against a team like this. I mean, you're going to get punches thrown at you. You're going to get some, and we got some tonight. And it's just, what's your response going to be? And our response was to punch back and punch back harder. And I really felt like, even when it isn't perfect execution, just felt like there was an attitude and energy that our guys had, and there's going to be no regrets when we walk off the football field because we gave it everything we had.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, you're going to get punched in the mouth. You had to be able to punch back and punch back harder. It seems to me that Coach Kalen DeBoer coaching with a little bit more aggression. I feel like he is doing a good job in terms of getting these guys ready. This was a big tell for us going on the road to Georgia in this type of environment when he has, I think he was 15-2, now 16-2 coming off a bye week during his career. Man, this guy proved a lot. And I told you, the narrative would completely change if they beat Georgia, which they did. Think about this, okay? Who are some of the top coaches in college football right now? Okay. If I mentioned Steve Sarkisian, would you say he's one of them? I know Texas isn't playing up to par right now, but would you say Steve Sarkisian? Yeah, sure. But I think you would first say Kirby Smart, right? You would be like, Kirby Smart is like the guy. Okay? Steve Sarkisian, the guy. Dan Lanning, the guy. Well, have any of those guys that I just mentioned, have any one of those coaches beat Coach Kalen DeBoer head-to-head? No. I think that's a tremendous amount. I mean, this guy is 2-0 against Kirby Smart. Like, that's huge. So, and I think fans understand because the standard is super high. They want to see consistency in that, right? They don't want a let-up this coming Saturday or the next Saturday. Fans will continue to follow Coach Kalen DeBoer and to continue to support him as long as there's consistency, because that's what a winning program does. They have consistency in performance. We continue with Coach Kalen DeBoer.
I mean, we want to play to win, and didn't want to give them a chance. So, they have over a minute probably to go, or right at a minute maybe with the punt. And so, that gets hard, especially on the road. And, it's a pretty conservative play because you need 5 yards, and what are you going to do if you get 3? What are you going to do if you get 4? And so, if we got out the back door clean with Jam, it was going to be a good play. And then you still got it in your quarterback's hands, and he can make a decision where you're at on the field. If you have to take a sack, you take a sack, keep the clock running, and then you go from there. But proud of the execution of the guys. We've had that one in for a while, a long time, even last year, and so just executing at the right time. I thought it was a great play call, great execution.
Yeah, he's talking about the 3rd and 5, and I thought that was a genius call. We've highlighted a bunch of different times following the game, but hearing Coach Kalen DeBoer discuss it's a very creative play, but it's a very safe play, and it has a very low risk and a very high reward, right? Because, as we saw when we break down the play, Ty Simpson kind of reverses out. So if Jam Miller is covered up, Ty Simpson can make a play, right, to maybe get, I don't know, maybe the first down with his legs and the clock keeps moving, right? Or he's able to throw a pass to a running back that has proven that he has good hands, and that's exactly what happened. But I love the play call as well, and I love the heads-up mindset for Jam Miller to not only catch the football and then stay in bounds, right, to keep the clock moving. I thought that was fantastic. Amazing play, and I think that's where Ryan Grubb continues to shine, and I ask you on a constant basis, what is your assessment of Ryan Grubb and how he has utilized the players that he has within the roster? And I think he's done a really good job. I think if you want to, maybe ask questions, it's about the run game where Alabama, I have some stats coming up. I'll show you where Alabama is specifically in the run. But Georgia wanted to stop the run, and they wanted to put pressure on Ty in terms of, coverage type pressure, and he ate him up. We'll hear from Kirby in just a second. We got Coach Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, at the end. All night long. Yeah, and we got to continue to get better in the run game. There's times when we had looks that we just should really take advantage of. And, there's an execution piece to it. There's a toss play, and it's not always the offensive line. There's a toss play to the right that I just felt like numbers-wise, I think Germ had the ball in his hands, and we just got to get everyone on the same page doing your job. But, there's some times inside, too, where, there are 2 high safeties, and we should be able to get more than what we had, not just 3 or 4. We should be able to get 7 or 8. And especially as the game goes along. Now, in the last drive, that happen a little bit more, and so that's why you just stick with it. I think I saw 38 attempts or something like that as far as rushing attempts. That's a credit to Ryan Grubb, just continue to stay within, not getting greedy, not, just feeling it has to turn into an all-out, passing game. So just proud of the continued fight that he had and what he brings out of the offensive line.
Before we get to Coach Kirby Smart, just talking about Alabama's running game, or I guess lack thereof, I do agree with Coach Kalen DeBoer on that last part right there. Is I think if we kind of go back to that last drive, I think it was Jam Miller who reeled off like an 8-yard run or something like that. What was your thought of Jam Miller? Number one, he's healthy. He wasn't on any sort of a rep count. He's a big, imposing back, and clearly running back number 2 is Kevin Riley. That's kind of a surprise of the early part of the season. If you were to ask me about any surprises, I'd probably say that Kevin Riley turned out to be running back number 2. And I thought he had a really nice run in that game. I also like about Ryan Grubb's offense, he's not afraid to use Jeremy Bernard all over the field. I love that. Look, Jeremy Bernard is playing at a very high level, but he utilizes him as a running back, split out as a wide receiver. The gadget play where he came off, he got a pitch from Ty, and then he threw it to Isaiah Horton. I think that that was impressive. King's family reacts as he was disappointed in Jam. I don't know. I mean, first game back, against Georgia, I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I thought, some of the plays that he came up with, I didn't think he was like, a game changer in any sort of way, but he came up with a game-changing play. I think he did a pretty good job, honestly. First game back, I wasn't disappointed with Jam, to be honest, but I appreciate your observation. We got Kirby Smart right here with some really good sound bites following the game.
A lot of credit to Alabama. They out-executed us tonight. I think that was clear, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know that I've coached a lot of years and never been 13 of 19 on third down, and that tells the tale of the game. We controlled the line of scrimmage and held the run down for them, which was the goal, and then, we got to win on third down, and we did not play well on third down, and it showed pretty much all night. So I hate it. They controlled the tempo of the game outside of maybe the third quarter, and they controlled the time of possession. They won the turnover battle. And really, special teams seemed like it was not even relevant. So a lot of credit to them. I am very proud of our guys and the way they fought. There were some guys really upset at halftime, especially defensively, that wanted to come out and play better. And we got to do a better job as coaches to help those players start better. It's because we're spotting people too much and not executing at a high level. And sometimes it's execution. Sometimes it's, hey, they got a good call, they got a good play called, and they out-execute us. But if I didn't think we could cover them or didn't think we could stop them, it'd be disappointing. But to do it in the second half is certainly frustrating for us.
I thought that Georgia did make some good adjustments, and I thought that they played Alabama better defensively in the second half. Would you agree with that? I think Alabama's offense and Georgia's defense were a little bit more even in the second half. But, look, Alabama came up with a really good game plan, and as they said, Georgia wanted to stop Alabama from running the ball. And they did that, and I think you guys are right inside the comment box. I think we need to give credit to Georgia's ability to stop the run. I mean, if we are looking for Alabama's running game to really get going, it was never going to happen against Georgia, never, right? But what I look to is kind of how did the offense still move the football? And that comes down to protection for Ty and Ty making throws. I mean, my goodness, that guy on the national stage. Let me ask you this about Ty Simpson. He's going to talk about Ty Simpson next. Man, did he look nervous? Did he look rattled at any part of that game? He came in like the straight-up alpha and just dominated. The confidence that he's currently exuberating is kind of spilling over, I think, into everybody. Ty is playing through the roof, okay? And I know, efficiency-wise or whatever, he wasn't, there was some incompletions. There was some passes that were overthrown. You go against Georgia's defense, right? This is a Georgia-type defense. In my opinion, Georgia's never really been known for an elite-type offense, at least within the last couple of years. They've always kind of been a team built on defense. And Ty Simpson came through with some really good throws. I mean, I look back to that pass to Ryan Williams. That was on the button. It should have been a touchdown. He came up with some really big plays, and he executes. And the guy is absolutely a problem. And I think Kirby Smart is talking about him here next.
I don't know that we figured anything out. There was no adjustment. It was we covered them better. Like if you're going to play Alabama and this quarterback is accurate, is on time, he knows his protections. Watch the third downs and see we got free runners at the quarterback. He gets the ball out. Okay, we get a free run at the quarterback. He breaks a tackle, spins out, goes and runs around and throws a completion. You play zone, he hits you in a soft spot. The cover two hole throw. I mean, early in the game, he made some really, really good plays, and we were pitching and throwing to him. But at the end of the day, to play well in this league on third down, you got to be able to put hands on people and cover them. And we did that in the second half. We didn't really do that in the first. And it wasn't that we didn't try. They just beat us. I mean,
the third down efficiency for Alabama, what were they, 13 of 19 or something like that? It was the most third downs that Georgia had allowed, like conversions, in 30 years. I think that's what SEC said. That's crazy. Third down offense tells me so much about your offense. Third down offense tells me so much about your play caller. Third down offense tells me so much about your quarterback. What Alabama did on third down against Georgia, specifically in the first half, had to be maddening for Georgia's defense, right? And look, Ty Simpson came with it, and these guys operated. They kept the chains moving. Those first two drives, I think we kind of lose sight of them, that were scoring drives for Alabama. What were they, like 14 plays or something like that? Those are the type of drives that take the fans out of the game, that have the defense on its heels, that have you panicking because you're like, how the hell are we going to stop this? And then once again, it circles back to your point guard, somebody that understands where your pass protection is, somebody who understands where your wide receivers are, somebody who has the wide receivers to distribute the football to, and then also you're just going to need playmakers to make plays. One guy I definitely want to spot out in this is, Isaiah Horton. I told you he'd come with it, but Lottie Brooks, that guy's a problem. You look at the yak yardage that he had. He caught that pass, and, it was when, a couple plays later they threw it to Caden Proctor. But before that, they dumped it out to Lottie. I think across the middle, he made a couple guys miss. That guy is talented. The freshmen that Alabama have are talented. So Lottie Brooks just wanted to kind of throw him a game ball. Kirby Smart now 1-7 all-time against Alabama. He says that record doesn't bother him. And he's like, what's everybody else's record against Alabama? I think that's a huge statement for the brand integrity, okay? Because what I would say that I would put that on a T-shirt. What is everybody's record against Alabama? There you go, right? It's not good, okay? It doesn't matter if you're Georgia, doesn't matter if you're whoever in the SEC. People may think that they can play with Alabama right now. People may think that Alabama has changed and you have a puncher's shot at beating them. But honestly, what's your record against them? Pull up the stats, right? Exactly what he said. So 1-7, he's like, look, we've played at a very high level against Alabama all the time. There's 25 scouts. What he's saying is that Alabama is a championship level team, right? That Alabama is still a standard of an elite college football program. It's not like he lost to, a lower level team, an unranked team. It's not like he lost to Virginia. You see what I'm saying? He lost to Alabama. He clearly thinks that Alabama and clearly knows that Alabama still has it.
What's everybody else's record against them? You got it? I don't either. Like I don't lose sleep over that because those games have been like championship caliber games, right? And even when we play in the regular season, they've been. I just saw 25 scouts out there. They're all there to watch these teams play. So that's not going to affect me. Like I'm going to be happy and just go lucky if our team comes back and plays well. That's what I worry about. But that's just we got to get better. And
Yeah, so those are the coaches kind of breaking down things after the game. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. I put together every single thing myself in terms of like the editing and all the packaging. So I hope you guys know that I'm putting my best foot forward every single time that I step on here. Love to be here on a Monday following a big game like that. It's kind of like, an opportunity for me to showcase my abilities and how grateful I am that you guys are here watching the program right here on Bama Football on YouTube. So don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. Don't be afraid afraid to get inside the comment box, sound off. If you disagree with some of my, takes or whatever, that's totally fine. I would never hold that against you. In fact, I might put it on screen and explain my point of view and kind of understand your point of view. I would never talk down to you. I am not above anybody else, within the chat or within life. And I just hope you guys know that I really appreciate you guys. Coming up next, we got Pro Football Focus grades and a couple things that I have spotted. Let me break this down because I know Pro Football Focus grades might be confusing to a lot of people. I put up all these numbers and you're like, what the hell is this? So Pro Football Focus is a service that you can subscribe to, and it's with former coaches that, coach in the NFL, college, whatever. They go out and they grade the players on a grading scale. I like it. It's analytical. I like numbers. It's something for us to chew on. I don't show these often because it can get a little bit overwhelming, but let's at least look at some numbers that stood out against Alabama and Georgia. So I went ahead and circled some numbers in the pre-show, and I'll walk you through it. Okay, so Caden Proctor up here. You follow the cursor right here. This star indicates that the players that started the game against Georgia, and we're just looking at offense for right now. Then you have the position that the player played, and the total right here is the number of plays the player played in the game, otherwise known as the snap count, right? So you're like, how many snaps did they play? Another thing to note that this doesn't include all of the players. I cut the line off at 19 so it would fit in the screen, but also, underneath that you don't have an accurate grade in my opinion because you just don't have, if the player played like 7 snaps, for example, Jaden Roberts, which is still interesting, he only played in 7 snaps. And I know a lot of your guys' questions inside the comment box is like, why doesn't Jaden Roberts play anymore? Straight up, he's beat. Period. Gino Vandermark beat him for his job. He took his job. That's why he's not playing. He's had opportunities to win that. We thought he would be the guy. He's not. He got beat by Gino Vandermark, who's kind of a Swiss Army knife. So a couple things that stand out to me on the sheet. Pass blocking up here. Caden Proctor, 80.9 in 79 snaps. That is really good. He went against pass blocking in 43 situations. 80 is outstanding. Parker Brailsford, 87.4. We talked about the pass blocking for Alabama. Certainly stands out. Ty Simpson had an overall grade of 78.8. The grading scale, you get into the 70s, you get into the 80s, those are elite type numbers, like best in college football, okay? The 60s is like average, okay? And 50s is, need to improve. 40s is like you didn't do well at all. 93 by Wilcom Formby. My goodness, like, damn, this is a number that just jumped out to me. We've been riding this kid for a long time. We did see Jackson Lloyd come in a couple different times, but as you can see, a 93.2 grade for Wilcom Formby in 40 pass blocking attempts. That's certainly notable and a step in the right direction. We need to see consistency from him, right? You have pass blocking from Josh Cuevas right here, which is really good. And then Cam Dewberry, your guard, 88.5. So those are some numbers that stood out for me. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, which we're looking at right now, you see Bray Hubbard, his tackle grade was 86.3. He's one of the best, in space and kind of brings that boom from the safety position. He's been playing at a very high level, had a fumble as well. So I think he has, 3 interceptions and a fumble this season. You see a Keon Sabb right behind him with the 83.2. I guess I should have highlighted that as well. He stopped to tackle. Deontay Lawson, look, I have to say this about Deontay Lawson. He played pretty good in this game. I've had my eye on Deontay Lawson because I'm like, is he healthy? What's his stat? He's actually been playing better in my mind. He should have had an interception, right, in the first drive or whatever. Should have had an interception. Ty should have thrown an interception, actually. Those were dropped passes. Tim Keenan, back in action. What'd you guys think about Tim Keenan? I know sometimes it's hard to look at the guys in the trenches because you guys are following the ball. I thought Tim Keenan did a really good job. Someone pointed out to me inside the comment box. I don't know who it was. I wish I could give you credit. But they said, I think Jam ran the first run of the game, and then Tim Keenan had the last tackle. Or no, I think it was Tim Keenan had the first tackle of the game, and then Jam Miller caught the last pass of the game. So I thought that was a pretty cool, kind of point out from the game, from observation standpoint. Let's see, Dejon Lee right here had a grade of 73.6 in coverage. And then tackling right here, you have Nikhil Green with 33.4. So, take it for what it is on the Pro Football Focus numbers. Later on today, I'm sure it might already be out. The players of the week that are presented by the coaches. So we'll see. If I had to, figure out who players were the week, just kind of based on what I saw, I'd say Ty Simpson, Wilcom Formby, maybe I would probably maybe the punter Blake Dowd, and then on the defensive side, I'd say Bray and maybe Deontay Lawson. I don't know. All right, big news. So you got injury news and something that we're waiting to hear from Coach Kalen DeBoer. He'll hit the podium at 12. I'm sure he'll provide an update. But what we have right now, Quay Rusaw, he is out with a foot injury. Now, he had surgery. I think it was Matt Zenitz who was on, with the update of 247 Sports. But Quay Rusaw, absolute baller. All right, so prayers up to this kid. No one wants to go down. No one wants to, have surgery. I don't have a timetable on that. Timetables to me with foot injuries or anything like that are a little bit shorter here at the University of Alabama because of Jeff Allen. Now, that's just it. I mean, Tim Keenan just had tightrope surgery before the season. He was back. What did it take him to get back? Like 5 weeks, 4 weeks, or whatever? So, and again, I have no idea what the injury is. I mean, could be severe. It might not be severe at all. I have no idea. There's a lot of different things that can go on with the foot. So we'll continue to track it and have an update for you later on today on Quay Rusaw once we hear from Coach Kalen DeBoer. I'm sure that'll be the first thing that he's asked about. And what's interesting about this is now you kind of look to this position right here, and you have Quay Rusaw. Let's say he's just out before Saturday. Okay, we don't know anything. If you had surgery, you're not coming back by Saturday. So let's just put him as out, right, for Vanderbilt. You have Ja Latham. He's out. The guy just had a severe neck injury. He's okay, thank goodness. Now you look to the other guys at that wolf position, and you have Yanze Pierre, right? Yo, what do you guys think about Yanze? I actually like to play Yanze Pierre. I've never had an issue with him. I felt, if Ja Latham wasn't here, or even Quay, he'd be the starter, just because he's that talented, right? So really big on Yanze Pierre. And then after, it was interesting. I saw, and these stats need to be updated. I'm sorry I didn't update these today. I'll have them updated tomorrow. But Justin Hill played more than, and I don't think Noah Carter played against Georgia. Again, I'll have to dig through the snap counts. Did anyone see Noah Carter play? I don't know if he got on the field, but you had Justin Hill, who's a true freshman. So you kind of look at the 1 and 2 going into these next weeks, which is interesting because you're going against Vanderbilt and you're going against Missouri, 2 offenses that are in the top 15 within the country. So, you need your pass rusher. You need a guy that can play big. The good news is at this particular position, these guys are dogs. I'm telling you, like super athletic. They just haven't had opportunities. Yanze's had some clearly, but you know how big we are. And Justin Hill and Noah Carter, clearly he's coming along as well. So something to track. And I'm curious to see if they throw someone else at this wolf position. Is there anyone on Alabama's roster that can maybe be added to this group? Right? I don't know, Rex, if it was tightrope with Rusaw, currently. I don't even know. It just said foot. So we'll keep that tracked. Is there anyone else from the roster that could play on this position? I'm thinking about the linebackers. Maybe Fatoa Henry. I mean, I know he's a bandit player. Maybe they could put him over. Fatoa Henry, we haven't seen him yet, but maybe that's another guy you put there. How about Keon Keeley? Maybe he's too big right now. He probably has too much weight. All right, let's look at a couple stats for 2025 so far. The biggest number that really jumps out is the fact that Alabama has 0 turnovers. I don't talk about this number during the game. I talk about it after the game. It's super impressive to me. There's Alabama's one of 3 teams that has not committed a turnover this year. Temple and Connecticut are the 2 other teams, right? So 0 turnovers, that says a lot about the decision-making from the quarterback. Now, with that said, Ty almost threw an interception against Georgia. The guy dropped the ball. Jeff Stapleton inside the comment box says, Kyle, do you see DeBoer going more to a throwing offense and uses the run game to break a defense? I don't know, man. I'll talk about that here in just a second. That's a good question. Alabama, you'll see in the stats that I have. I think I have them next. Here you go. You look to where Alabama is specifically on the rushing offense, 122 yards per game, which are like, okay, that's not terrible. But then you look to where it is kind of, comparatively speaking in the nation, you're like, oh, man. So Alabama, the second point right here, 122 yards a game. That's 108th in the nation for Alabama's run game. Now, this is why it's concerning, okay? Because you tie it in to why Seattle's head football coach didn't like Ryan Grubb. Seattle wanted to run the football. They want to pound the ball up in Seattle. He felt that Ryan Grubb just wanted to throw the ball with Geno Smith, which they did. Geno threw for, almost 5,000 yards. So I think the casual fan were like, is this what's happening here? Look, they're winning games. The offense is scoring 38 points a game. The passing offense is 10th in the country. Let me ask you inside the comment box, has Alabama have they went away from the run? Like Coach Kalen DeBoer pointed out in the press conference, they did run the ball 39 times. That's a lot of times running the ball. Something to track, I think, as we go over these next – I'll tell you what. Within the next 8 games or within the next 4 games, we'll then have a healthy assessment of halfway through the season, and we'll be able to figure out, is this team just kind of more 80% run or 80% pass and 20% run? I don't know. Something to keep track of. Passing offense, 321 yards per game, 10th in the country, 3rd in the SEC, and then scoring offense, 38 points per game. All right. So that's kind of where we stand from an offensive perspective. Now, on the defensive side, there's a lot more to discuss. And I don't know if you had a chance to look at my video that I posted yesterday regarding Kane Walmack. I'll go over some of those notes today on the program. But Alabama's defense, 270 yards per game. So you look at it from up top and you're like, okay, well, they're in the top 20 in the country. Okay, right? 4th in the SEC. You're like, okay, yeah. But then this number freaks you out. Rush defense, 160 yards per game, which is 90th in the country, and 14th in the SEC. So you're like, man, and I've showed you the stats before. Florida State ran for whatever yards, and so did Georgia. And the thing I think which is frustrating is those big chunk yardage plays. If those players are faster from Georgia, they score touchdowns, right? I'm surprised that Alabama even won considering the chunk yardage plays that Georgia had on Saturday. I really am. Usually those go for touchdowns if the guys are faster, right? The passing defense, though, look at that. It's almost completely opposite from the run defense. 113 yards per game, which is crazy. That's 2nd in the country. So it kind of literally makes you scratch your head. You're like, the rush defense, the pass defense, plain and simple. If you want to beat Alabama still, and I've been saying this from the preseason, you better be able to control the time of possession, and you better be able to run the football again and again and again and again. Georgia didn't control the time of possession. Maybe those are the 2 common denominators that you have to beat Alabama. Control the time of possession and run the football. Alabama won the time of possession, but Georgia was able to run the football. See what I'm saying? The turnover margin, pretty impressive. +7 for Alabama. What is that? 3rd in the country? That's super, super impressive. That's a gigantic number. This is, you're going to the Final Four right here. That's that type of football. If you can maintain that, right? And then, teams want to challenge Alabama. They want to run 37 times per game on average. And I think when you look to Vanderbilt, who's coming into town on Saturday, that's a team that wants to do that. That's a team that wants to run the ball. Last year, Diego Pavia ran the football 20 times, right? I don't think he ran for 100 yards, but you had him run for 20 times, and I think the running back ran for 20 times. Up next is Vanderbilt and Missouri. A couple stats to kind of look at. Vanderbilt is the 14th ranked offense in the country, 494 yards per game, 49 points per game. They score in bunches, okay? They have weapons. They have a quarterback who's highly spirited. He's a gamer. We know about him. And then on the backside, you have Missouri. So Coach Kirby Smart, and I'm sure most teams do it, they kind of start looking at the teams at the back end of the schedule, and they come back and then they look at like Missouri, then they give all their attention to Vanderbilt. So these are the next two teams. They're both 5-0. They're both within the top 20 in the country, ranking-wise. Missouri ranked 4th in the nation, 547 per game. Now, the thing is, what I don't show you in this particular stats is passing. These guys like to throw the ball. I don't think you're going to be able to throw the ball against Alabama to beat Alabama. Like I said, you got to be able to run the ball, and that'll come down to if Vanderbilt and Missouri can challenge Alabama running the football. That'll dictate the game, but I am bullish that Alabama is able to take care of business against both of these teams. More on the predictions and stuff like that as we get going with the week. The college football playoff rankings came out on Sunday. Are you guys enjoying the show? Are you guys having a good time? All right. Am I being too serious? I like to be able to provide like the show. I spend a lot of time putting this all together so it flows really well. So I hope you guys are able to, conceptualize it and like understand it. I want to be able to, provide a really good product. So, college football rankings dropped on Sunday, and I get it. Look, right now, in the feedback that I get inside the comment box is like, AP rankings are trash, and coaches poll, they don't matter. Truth is, they don't. Okay, they don't. But I need something to talk about on Sunday at 1. Okay, so they really don't matter at all. All right. So if you don't want to watch those videos, don't tell me. Just watch them. Hit the thumbs up. But I need something to talk about on Sunday. Because what matters is the college football playoff rankings, all right? So that's the real thing, all right? It's content to fill on Sunday, okay? So that's the truth. But I think it does give you an idea of kind of how teams are viewing the teams, which honestly, right now, the rankings shouldn't even be rankings until maybe today. Because nobody knows. All the teams are playing different opponents. You have a couple trash teams on your schedule. Nobody knows, bro. Nobody, right? So the coaches poll, look how confused they are. They got Ohio State up, number 1. Easy. I agree. Oregon, 2. Sure. Miami, okay. Yeah, they got 2 wins. Quality wins. Ole Miss, I guess. I guess. Texas A&M, I guess. Penn State, still. You got to beat, you know what? The 2 teams, these are you got to beat Penn State 4 times to get them out of the top 25. It's the craziest thing, right? You really do. The other team is Notre Dame. Notre Dame has to lose 6 games, 6, to be out of the playoffs and the top 25. Right? Am I right with Notre Dame? You can beat Notre Dame 5-6 times and they're still in the top 25. It's the craziest thing. They won't go away. Texas. Yo, Trent, what's up? I see you inside the comment box, bro. I appreciate the compliments, dude. Who is Texas beating? Sam Houston. Let's say it together, just so everybody knows, okay? Sam Houston. Help me out. UTEP and San Jose State. Those are the teams. Those are the teams that they beat. And they're still 7. I mean, come on. Oklahoma, 4-0. Okay. They beat Auburn and they beat Michigan. Okay. Indiana. Look, I've gone back and forth with a couple fans inside the comment box because I'm like, do you guys really feel that Indiana is a team, an elite type team? I don't. I've seen this before. I've seen this before. I do like their coach, and their quarterback is pretty good, okay? But I'm not buying them being better than Georgia or Alabama. I'm just not. And the coaches, they were like, oh, wait, Alabama won at Georgia. Do it again. Do it again. So that's the coaches poll, all right? So the AP poll, which, like I just told you, this is like Fugazi. It doesn't matter because once we get to the college football playoff rankings, we won't talk about this again, all right? You got the top 3 are the same. I guess the top 5, whatever. Penn State at 7, Indiana at 8. Man, I'm telling you, Penn State's sticky. You can't move them. When we start to get to this area, it gets kind of weird, right? Like, okay, Bama's a top 10 team. Yeah, I would have had them in the top 10. Yeah, I think I got a little fancy yesterday, and I was like, I'll put them in the top 5. They played like a top 5 team on Saturday, but maybe I should wait for more consistency before I throw them in the top 5, right? Top 10, I'll take it. Texas Tech, Iowa State, those teams from the Big 12, look, I get it. It's probably exciting if you're in Ames or you're in Lubbock and you think you got a real top 15 type team. The truth of the matter is, if those teams jumped into the SEC, they find out real fast, okay? You know who found out? Arizona State. I love them. I think they're a good team. But they found out against Mississippi State. The SEC, it goes hard, okay? You come to Stark Vegas and you think it's a little cowboy town? Yeah, it is. I like Stark Vegas. I've been there a couple different times. Yo, you better come with it, bro, because they will beat your you-know-what with a cowbell, okay? And they did just that to Arizona State. They're not even on here. And I think the same thing, I don't know if Texas Tech or one of these teams is probably good against that type of a schedule. Come play this schedule. Come play this type of gauntlet, and let's see where you're at, honestly. Georgia moves to 12. LSU, you know, I told you in the preseason that I figured LSU would have a crash out. It's not a crash out losing one game. I didn't even have this team in the playoffs. I looked at their schedule. Yo, I don't think LSU makes the playoffs. And I know our boy J.D. Bukel thinks that they're going to win the championship. I don't see how. I don't even know if they make the playoffs. Iowa State, Tennessee, that's a team that's been in overtime twice. Their coach is good. Say what you want. Their coach is good. Their quarterback is pretty salty. Vanderbilt, this is the team that's coming to town. We all know about Vanderbilt. This is a team on the rise. This isn't the Vanderbilt from like the past, right? Everything that you knew about college football changed. Georgia Tech, they found a way to win in overtime as well. Florida State took one on the chin. And I'm sure that Florida State fans are upset when they see like Bama ahead of them. Well, the rankings are about what have you done for me lately. What was that song? What have you done for me lately? Was that Paula Abdul? Was it? Did I just go that far back? Damn, I took it way back. You got Missouri, who's coming to town, or, you know, Bama's going up there to Columbia, and then you got Michigan. And I'm telling you, Notre Dame, this team is going to have to lose 5 games before they're out of the playoffs. 5 games. I'm telling you. It's the weirdest thing, but super sticky. All right. Here's a look at the SEC right now. And as you can see, the barrage of teams, it is packed with teams that haven't lost. Packed. Where would Iowa State be over here? Where would Texas Tech be? I'm dead serious. All right. You got Ole Miss 5-0. You got Missouri 5-0. You got Vanderbilt 5-0. Oklahoma 4-0. A&M's 4-0. Bama 3-1. LSU. Tennessee, Georgia. A lot of teams didn't even make this graphic because, you know, either they haven't played a conference game like Texas. They haven't played a conference game yet. Was that Janet Jackson? Or was that Paul Abdul that I went with? What have you done for me lately? Do. Ooh. Oh, man. I don't know why those old school R&B songs, they just stuck up. Vanderbilt. All right, so Big Bad Vandy's coming to town. How bad do you want to beat Vanderbilt? If you're an Alabama fan, is it Janet Jackson? All right, cool. All right, I love me some Janet, by the way. All right, how bad on a scale of 1 to 10 do you want to beat Vanderbilt? Do you want to see Alabama beat Vanderbilt? Like how bad? A scale of 1 to 10. I would imagine it's like as high as it can go. Because, look, these guys punched Alabama in the mouth last season, and they stood their ground. There's 2 guys that have really called their shot against Alabama and then made things happen. And I've never seen that before. But the first was Diego Pavia, and the second was Tommy Castellanos, right? Like, those guys knew, this is the truth, these guys knew that they were going to beat Alabama before they played, and they did that, okay? So I can already see inside the comment box, there's kind of some anger, right? redemption that fans want when Alabama plays Vanderbilt. But first, okay, I asked you in the pre-show, please help me out. Who you got for the game day guest picker? All right. I put this graphic together. I like how it looks. I think it's hilarious. You got Roll Tide Willie. These are some gigantic personalities. You got Julio Jones, okay? You got A.J. McCarron, right? You have James Spann. You have Nate Oates. And you have Miss Terry. Rex, yes, I am a Niners fan. No, man, Roger Craig was one of the best, probably the best receiving running backs, right? Ricky Waters, what they were able to do with him. So I think when Bill Walsh was the coach of the 49ers, they did such a great job kind of implementing that West Coast offense. And that was utilizing those type of running backs. So, yeah, Roger Craig, 3-3, dude was absolutely nasty. So who you got for your guest picker? I don't know. I'm kind of going with this side of the table. I know James Spann wants it bad. Okay, who doesn't love me some James Spann? I mean, he's one of the biggest personalities in this whole Southeast. Let's see. I'm either going with Nate Oates or Miss Terry. I think I love me some Coach Oates. Miss Terry. I think that vibe, having her back with Coach Saban. I don't know. Who are you guys seeing inside the comment box? Oh, Justin Thomas. That's a great addition. I would love to see that. Fresh off the Ryder Cup, right? Let's see. I see James Spann. What does the poll say? I didn't add everybody. Julio Jones, I have to say this, and Julio Jones was before my time, but I understand, the greatness. And you could probably add a bunch of other people, But, man, fans here in Alabama love them some Julio Jones, right? Like, love Julio Jones. So the poll reads right now, 34% would like to see Julio Jones, but a close Miss Terry at 31%. To my surprise, only 13% for Nate Oates. Huh. Interesting. All right. So yesterday, Diego Pavia, I actually said this after the game, after they beat Utah State. He said, Tuscaloosa will be a good, fun time. He said he'd never been here before. I don't know if he'll be as confident at, like, the podium. I don't know. He's a pretty confident guy, period. But Tuscaloosa will be a good, fun time. I would print that out, and I would be posting that in the locker room. And I would say, Diego Pavia. 100%, right? Good fun time. Is there a double meaning to this? Usually people, have a way with words. He's kind of seems to be one of those guys. I don't know. 100,000 fans, 103,000 actually, that absolutely hate your guts. I don't know if that's a good fun time. We'll have to see, but I think that is kind of reverse rat poison for the defense. We all know what happened last year. What was it, 45-40 or whatever the score was? I'll say this. Out of all the teams that Alabama played last year, and I'm just being honest, nobody hit Bama harder than Vanderbilt. These guys honestly laid the wood time and time again. I thought Kobe Prentice, I thought he got knocked out. There was some really hard hits. There was some big plays. Vanderbilt came up with some big plays when they needed to. But the thing that Vanderbilt did was they played time of possession. And that's a way to beat Alabama. So you kind of look to, the two teams right now at a glance, and I'll go full screen on this. You got Diego Pavia. This team is a scoring machine. They haven't played the most challenging schedule, but here are the stats. You have, I call Diego definitely a dual threat quarterback. He doesn't have elite speed, but he's fast enough, right? So he has 1,200 yards on the season and 13 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He has 48 carries and 2 tutties. Almost 300 yards rushing. So this will be really, I would say this guy is probably the best quarterback that you've faced so far, right? Gunnar Stockton, look, I thought he threw a beautiful ball. Even in this last game, he made some really good throws. He had a long run. He's good. He's definitely improving, but, he's not the best quarterback that Alabama is going to face. This Stowers kid right here, this guy is a problem. Their tight end. like an absolute. He's probably one of the best tight ends in college football, to be honest. And they got a hard-hitting defense. This guy has 4 sacks and then 23 on the back end. Alabama clearly, led by Ty Simpson, who almost has 1,200 yards. Kevin Riley still leading the team, but as we know, he's running back number 2. Jerm has 310, and LT got to have a big game from him. He came up with a monster play, and then Bray Hubbard leading the team for Alabama with 17 sacks. Bray Hubbard's been playing great, man. As soon as he got that first game, man, he's been playing just lights out, 100%. Here's some rat poison for you. Alabama 74% favorite to beat Vanderbilt according to ESPN's matchup predictor. And, I don't know, the line started out, right, Jarvis? I see you inside the comment box right now. The line started out, it was 13.5. And then yesterday it moved down to 10.5. So, look, Vegas knows. In the points, what are the points supposed to be? 56.5. Okay. Yeah, I take the over. I mean, last game, actually, I thought there would be more than 52 points, and there was 45, right? So it was the under. I still feel like you take the over with the points here, right? Am I mistaken? I don't know. All right. I'll run through this real quick. But I have a video that kind of goes more in depth here, talking about Alabama's defense. But how would you assess Kane Womack right now? Be honest with me. On a scale of 1 to 10, do you think that this is the main hole for Alabama? Like, do you think that this is the thing stopping Alabama from, being a great team? I have mid, average, or whatever, good, great, elite. Is this man right here, like, how would you assess him? All right. I want more volume of games because the second in pass defense, but 90th in run defense. I think the problem is, like, how do you stop the run with this defensive scheme? And can you do it? Teams are going to challenge Alabama continually until Alabama can shut down the run. 33 rushes for 227 yards. That's a lot of volume, and that's a lot of yards, right, that Alabama gave up in this game. And most concerning is these big chunk yardage type plays, right? 43, 24, 21. You know what I'm saying? That has to get under control. How do you stop that? Can you stop that? Because Florida State, they did it as well, right? A run of 14, a run of 32, a run of 14, a run of 14, 49 carries for 230 yards. If teams can run the ball and play time possession, they beat Alabama. Those are the stats, okay? And so Alabama has to figure out a way to stop those chunk yardage plays. Huge. This is terrible. Is it good calls by Bobo and Georgia? Sure. But you can't allow that, right? This particular play, we have to give credit where credit is due. LT Overton, this is coming up with big-time plays. We've talked about this. This is probably the second most important play of the game. Maybe it was the first. Maybe there's 1A, 1B. Who cares? But, LT Overton, even Deontay Lawson was in the backfield on this, so I just wanted to kind of point out the defense on that. As you look to Alabama's remaining schedule, this is another area that I have to update with the rankings. But, look, you beat Georgia in a game that ChatGPT thought they were going to lose, right? So now you look at the rest of the games, man, it's a one-game season, but as fans, we can look kind of to the broader horizon. You control your own destiny, period. Week by week, with that win, you control your own destiny, right? Is there pressure every single week? Hell yeah, but you at least control your own destiny, right? As you know, this video is powered by sponsor, powered by Sleeper. And when you use the promo code, which is tailgate, get a 100% match on Sleeper. I love it. It's something that makes the game more enjoyable, to be honest, or a little bit more stressful if you're into that. But you can make basically more or less picks. The last game, looking at kind of some parlays, 252 yards was the bar set for Ty Simpson. He threw over, so that was over. But what was interesting is I thought Jerry Bernard right here, 51.5, that he would go over. He went under, but he had a lot of yards rushing. He had he had a couple yards receiving, like 38 or something like that, and he even threw a pass. So when you download Sleeper, you can make more or less picks. The promo code, which is tailgate, that's my personal promo code, and if you put $100 in, you get up to $100 back. You can do NFL, college. It's really fun. Gunnar Stockton threw under 2 touchdowns, right? So before I bounce out and get you guys out the door, Oregon's Dante Moore at 750 to win the Heisman, and then right behind him is Ty Simpson at plus 950, which is super notable. And then also Alabama ended Georgia's 33-game home winning streak, which is wild. And the other stat that stands out is Kirby Smart is 1-7 all-time against Bama. Ty Simpson 276 and 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground against the Georgia Bulldogs. Yo, it's a one-game season, all right? You win and you move on. You control your destiny. A gigantic dub for the Crimson Tide. Coming up next, you got Ryan Grubb, Kane Womack, Coach DeBoer up at that 11:30 window. And then as news happens, follow the Facebook channel as we got tons of content. And then I'll be back tonight to break down what Coach Kalen DeBoer had to say, him and his staff. And there'll be constant contact, with you guys on the Facebook channel. I'll drop it inside the comment box. And basically my website, it's community driven and there's a ton of content on there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I put a lot into the show and it's for you guys. If you super chats go a long way. If you want to send me a tip, that's cool. Venmo Bama _ YouTube or Cash App Bama YouTube. But you guys just being here means a lot. So thank you so much for kicking it with me today on this Monday, September 29th. Hope you guys had a good show. Thought it was pretty good and, get us off to a good start as we go into another challenging game against Vanderbilt. All right. I appreciate you guys. Stay where your feet are at. Be blessed. And I'll catch you as news happens. Probably the biggest update, what I'm looking for is an update on Quay Rusaw. I think that is significant, trying to figure out what Alabama's defense is going to look, like going forward. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Stay blessed. And, as always, news happens right here. I got you covered on Bama Football on YouTube. Have a good rest of your Monday. I'll see you a bunch of different ways and a bunch of different times right here on Bama Football.